Good evening, folks. Welcome to another edition of F45 Trading Market Analysis for the week of June 11th to the 15th. New week here, and we've got a lot of news on the horizon, and I believe we're going to see a whole lot of volatility come Wednesday. So, to be honest with you, I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of trading. I'm just going to be watching the market for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of this week, and we'll look to put in some positions here later on in the week. But just to start off, we've got some pound sterling news coming out in about, about 5 hours from now, give or take. At the time of this recording, it's about 3 hours from now, about 3.5 hours from now. So at the time of this recording, it's a little after 1 a.m. New York time. And apologize for my lateness getting this out. I was busy pretty much all day today, and didn't get a chance to get onto the markets apart from a short stint there earlier on today, where I took a couple of screenshots and posted those onto our member forum. A couple areas I was looking at, and mainly focusing on crypto. A lot of news going on there, and I'll run through crypto quickly here in a few minutes. But again, going down into Tuesday, we got some more pound sterling news, some Aussie news, and a little bit of US dollar news on Tuesday morning. New York Open. So there could be some good movement there. There could be a couple of trade-ups set up, honestly, Monday and Tuesday, but to be perfectly honest, I think we'll probably see some fairly sideways action, maybe even on the US dollar. It may continue downward for the short term, but it's Wednesday where we get all of the big FOMC economic projections and the statements and federal fund rates, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I don't imagine, I know over here they're predicting a couple of, some movements, excuse me, a quarter basis point movement. I've heard some news releases saying that they were looking at just suspending any future rate hikes until later on in the year, but we'll wait and see what happens. They always like to surprise, and the markets could be a little volatile pre-FOMC release, so that's why I'm electing to kind of sit on the sidelines just to see what they want to do. But I'll talk about that here in a few. Again, some more Aussie news towards Wednesday in the evening. We could get a couple of good positions actually on Aussie, so we'll be watching for that one to come out, and once the levels hit after the news on FOMC, we'll look to position into this. Now, FOMC is happening later in the day, so just keep in mind that if you are in some positions, the market will continue to run later on in the day. Down into Thursday, some more pound sterling news, some euro news, lots of euro news actually, and a couple more US dollar news releases here. So Thursday could offer a couple of good setups, and then Friday we've got the yen press conference, which shouldn't do a whole bunch, but and some medium impact news events for the Canadian dollar and more US dollar news. So all in all, it should be a fairly volatile week. Price should get pushed around quite a bit. We should see a few levels run, and we'll dive into that now. But yeah, again, this week here, I'm almost going to treat this Wednesday as like a NFP day, just because this could get fairly volatile, and until the market really starts to trend in a direction or another, I'm going to elect to sit on my hands here and on the sidelines until some of the major news events come out on Wednesday. So just going over to the charts quickly, the US dollar, like I was saying, we were consolidating up here to start last week, and then we had Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday had dropped down, created just about an equal low. Price actually came in about a pip lower on this feed here. The low was 93.17. The low here came in at 93.18, so it grabbed it by just a pip. So we'll see what it wants to do. I personally believe it'll probably go sideways until Wednesday. It may even come down and just kind of clear these two lows out here, and I think we'll see some resistance off of these highs in this small consolidation range in here. So that's kind of where I'm electing or where I believe price will probably sit going into that FOMC news. So we'll watch and see how that pans out. But I am expecting them. I still believe that they're going to run up and take out this 95 level here. If you run a fib on this from these lows to these highs here, you can see how this is kind of setting up to kind of a 72% retracement level. Very, very key level for reversals to happen at that level. and that's kind of what I'm expecting the price to kind of do something like this, shoot down here on Wednesday or or Tuesday or whenever, and then start to rebound, and I think we're going to be pushing for the 95 here. I don't believe they're going to just leave that untaken, but this is just a nice expected bounce, rejection lower, or retest lower, I'm sorry, and then a retrace higher. That's kind of what I'm looking at the setup to be for the rest of the week, and we'll watch and see that pan out. Now, if we zip over to the euro quickly, same type of idea. If I zoom out a little bit, this low was briefly taken out a couple of weeks ago and rejected off of that, and then again, there is still some areas lower in here that I would be expecting price to run. If we get that return off of or to the high of the 95 on the US dollar, I could see price easily push down to this 12 to 1300. I'll just make that an even number here, 1300 level here. I believe we could see price push down, which would kind of bring it back down to a couple of these older highs in here. As you can see, price it's rebounded quite nicely off of several rebounds off of that 1300 level. So fairly key level in terms of price action, and I believe we'll probably revisit it one more time, and then from there, who knows. Like I say, if the US dollar, I talked about this earlier, if it has any strength at all and wants to keep pushing, there's several levels above 95 where price could continue to go, but they could elect to just briefly run it. And I have 95.20 marked out in that green line right here. I think that's going to act as resistance, and we should see price start to fall off from there. And again, the same would follow suit to the Euro USD. Price, I'm assuming, would probably come back down into here now. If we do the same type of fib reading off of, let's go back to here. So we took a fib from this recent low to this high to see what the pullback would be. So if we take the most recent pullback here, significant pullback, there's a small consolidation here and here, but I'd be looking for this guy here. If we took the bodies of that one, you can see again that 72% to 92% retracement level would come into play and would be hitting the lows of this consolidation area in here where price retraced. And I believe that's where they're driving for. Price did it almost here last Thursday, and I was actually hoping and looking for a continuation higher up into that area, but it looks like they wanted to leave it for this week, so I would be expecting that to get fulfilled here in the next couple of days as well too. And right now it's really not doing anything. You can see Thursday, Friday, and this is Monday's opening candle here. You can see really just sitting sideways right now. If I went down to an hourly chart, you wouldn't see. You can see here, these 3 days here, they're all just kind of sitting in unison right here. Apart from the wicks, I guess. I'm talking about the bodies of the candles. They're in relative equal proximity right now. So, but again, looking for a push higher up to, I'll just drop a tag on that, 1850, 1855, somewhere in and around there. I think could be a level that would probably be on the radar screen. Can't quite pull that up here. So we'll be watching for that, and then from there, like I say, I would be expecting this level here to offer some level of resistance and push price back down. So that's what I'll be looking for. Same thing on the pound dollar. This one here had shown actually quite a decent retracement off of this level here, but again, right, we'll just take the, whoops. One second, guys. Didn't mean to. Let's get that object off of there. There we go. Okay. Try that one more time. So if we take the highs to the lows here, again, price coming up, I'd be looking for a return back up to this small, see these 1, 2, 3, 4 candles in here, how price really sat in that level there. I believe we could see a return up to that area there, and maybe even a little bit higher. The pound definitely has been showing a little bit of strength compared to the euro, but both pairs definitely reacting off of the bounce on the dollar, and if we do see dollar lower into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We could see a push higher Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on the euro and the cable. So we'll be looking for that area. And again, we'll just kind of dog tag a level out here. We'll go with the lows of these, the body lows on there, which is about 134.80, somewhere in and around there. I would imagine would probably offer some level of resistance. We could see price bounce lower from there. Now, if we go out onto a larger time frame here, or I'll just zoom out a little bit, I identified these levels down here that I thought they were going to try and reach for before they did this retracement higher. I think they'll probably roll over and see that. So if we do see the US dollar push up into the 95 region, I would imagine that they'll probably want to be pushing this price down into here. And I'll just grab just so you can kind of see that the price on there. That would be the lows at 130, but I think they'd probably want to sweep those lows and run the stops on them. So, you know, 130 big figure, basically 1.300 big figure would be the level I'd be looking for them to trade back down to if we see that continued push higher on the dollar. So if we don't see that push higher on the dollar, then obviously price should easily push through this consolidation area here, and then we'll be looking to retrace back up to these lows in here. So you can see this level down here would offer, I'm sorry, once we see this leg push up and see a retracement off it, then we would look for a symmetrical swing running higher. So we could see the strength on that. But again, I think we'll probably end up rolling over. That's just kind of what my gut is telling me. I don't believe they'd want to leave it just like that. So, and price just cleared that low last week as well too. Stabbed back down and rejected. So nice stop run right there. But Euro GBP still caught in this tight range here. I was calling this actually higher last week, but you can really see they're jamming this thing into a wedge. You can see that's actually more of an ascending triangle than it is a wedge. And we should see a breakout of this fairly soon, maybe even in conjunction with the move on the US dollar, if we do start to get that thing running out this week. We could see a corresponding move in Euro GBP, a break higher or a break lower at this point. You know, to be honest with you, I favor the break higher only because they ran stops up here in this area. You see this here? They came in and ran all the stops above price in here. They came in, took all those out, and then dropped price down and almost created another level of support down here, and then they ran it one more time and rejected and went higher. So that kind of leads me to believe that they could be pushing higher, just because there is definitely a lot of liquidity sitting above the market, and that liquidity would be sitting, you know, pretty much right about up here. So I'd be looking for a push up into this level going forward. So we'll watch for that. US CAD, not a whole bunch I'm going to be talking about here. This was that major news event last week on US CAD that I was hoping for a breakout in either direction. You know, I was hoping that they'd come and run these lows down here. They really didn't. It was just like a heartbeat. You look at this thing. It looks literally like a heart rate monitor. Higher, lower, higher, lower, higher, lower, and all they're doing is just taking stops out on both sides of the market right now. So nothing in Canadian dollar that excites me right now, other than the fact that I believe they could be continuing this bull trend higher. Now, if the U.S. dollar does see that break lower, that break higher, it could push this thing much higher as well too. And I had identified that I'd be interested in seeing them run the old highs right here, and that could be just what they're creeping in, crouching right underneath to do this week. So we'll keep an eye on that. Crude oil is, again, major news coming up. There's a major production rate decision coming up in 2 weeks from now, so I'm going to stay neutral on crude oil until then. I believe they could push price down a little bit lower. Certainly this 63.70 level will get hit, and I'm actually looking for sub 60, to be honest with you. I think they could make a quick run back down there. just to kind of clear out all the stops, and then we'll sort of wait and see what the news comes out with. But I think that could be their intended target going into the 22nd of the month here, if they don't wait for that to actually happen. But you can see how price has been making one leg down, two leg down. I think they're going to definitely push this a third leg down here. Kind of that Elliott wave theory, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then a retracement, and then a shift in market direction. We could see that here. Not that I put any faith or weight into Elliott wave theory or anything like that, but just for any of you Elliott wave traders out there, that's kind of what I'd be looking for in here to happen. But definitely another move lower is sort of what I'm anticipating. If this level here, see I have it on here at 66.40, if that 66.40 level gets broken, gets closed above, then I believe the temporary retracement downwards will be over, and I think they'll be shooting for higher highs again. But it definitely overstretched market. If I put an RSI on this, you definitely see this as an overbought market, especially up at these highs here. So they could be just wanting to drop this down lower. Lots of liquidity down here. You can see they never came down once to do a stop run. This was the low in here, and then ever since they just, they've been leaving liquidity at all sorts of spots underneath the market here. You can see here, right, lots of liquidity under here, and then I've got the next area under here. It's 60 big figure is what I'm looking for under here. But you can see no stop run once. This was one of the deepest retracements apart from here, and then they reversed and went higher. I'd be expecting them to go a little bit lower on that. So we'll wait and watch for that. Aussie, there's some news coming out, as I mentioned earlier in the recording. So we're going to wait and see what happens there. They really came down, stabbed it down on Friday of last week, and now they're just kind of giving us a bit of a bull signal. But again, if we do see a push in that US dollar higher, this could run a little lower one more time. I wouldn't expect them to break any of these lows down here, though. I actually would expect if this level right here, you see how all of these highs of these candles and the candle in here come in at the 75.40 level. I think that could definitely offer some area of support in here if we do get a stab lower, and then we could see this run higher. And I'm kind of earmarking the 77.50 as sort of the first target once these highs get cleared here. I am expecting some strength in the Aussie dollar, but I don't want to be putting in a buy order yet. I want to watch the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday's trading, and I want to see if they have any more willingness to come down, and then we'll look at getting long on this one. But I am bullish on this pair for the interim until they come back in and get back up to this level here. I think the Aussie dollar, as you can see here, definitely showing some signs of some strikes, looking like it wants to break up. There's a breakout. There's equal highs up here. They just ran the stops under here, so all the signs on this guy are pointing towards a higher Aussie dollar. And if the US dollar eventually does drop, we could get this push up, and then if it eventually drops down, that would be just a great precursor for this to be a nice long setup, and they could even want to get up into this range in here. So we'll watch for that. Only a couple of commodities I wanted to talk about today. I'm still looking to get in my commodity analysis. I haven't done it yet. That is on the list. And since I'm electing to sit on the sidelines for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that could give me a good opportunity to actually get in and do pre-recorded video. It'll be for members only. And I'm going to run through all of the commodity markets. I'm going to pick out the leaders and where I'm anticipating some of these markets to head in the next few months. And could be some really good moves coming up. So again, you can see copper here, big breakout play here. I'm expecting price to come in, open up on Monday, Tuesday, pop its head up above, reject, and come lower. And if it gets back down into this area here, I'm not necessarily thinking we're going to see a breakdown lower under here, but you can see how they've definitely left a couple of areas of interest under price, under the market. So I think this is a false rally. I think they're going to come up, they're going to take the highs, and then I think they're going to run it back down. This would be the first target here that I'd be looking for them to see run out, but we'll see what happens there. More like 93.10 basically would be where I'd be looking for them to come back down. So I'll watch for that. Cocoa, nice little bounce in here. I think there could be a little bit more to the downside on this guy here. I do like a stronger bullish trend on this here. I think price will want to come down to the 2200 level though, and we should see a little bit of a rejection happening. Friday posted a nice rejection candle here. I don't think this is it though. I think they're just going to come in, sweep the everyone who was short here, sweep out their stops, and then run it down one more time. And if this 2200 level doesn't offer any resistance, I would expect that this small consolidation range in here, you see how it lines up with all the candles, all of these previous candles in here, high level of confluence in there. So I think at the very least, if it does make a run down through that level, that this 2040 level could be an area on the menu that they may want to get down to. So we'll watch that on cocoa. Coffee, very interesting trade down here. Equal highs above price. Came down once, expanded up, came down twice. Now I'm looking to see that so far is a nice rejection candle pattern right here, but I don't think they're done. I think they could come down one more time. If they do, I'm going to get all over that, and what would negate that is if price actually were to come down and break. See this low here? If price came down and broke that low there, I wouldn't be interested in it. So that's kind of what I'm waiting to see. Just wait, watch, see. There's no rush on this. If they want to come back down one more time, they'll kind of do it down here, and they'll probably stab down, and it'll give us a chance to get in. So we'll watch that on Monday. Nothing on cotton I want to talk about. Orange juice, you can see, is making a starting to roll over, and they took the stops above the market here. I'll just grab this. You can see that rejection and a big move down. I would be expecting them to run down back to this level down here for orange juice, but this 155 level would probably, 154 level would probably be, sorry, 150. They could even run it as deep as this, 144. I would expect these highs in here to offer some area of resistance, though. I'm sorry, support at 51, somewhere in that neighborhood there. But I'm not interested in shorting this, to be honest with you. This has kind of been a nice bull market, and I'll analyze this a little more detail in the pre-recorded commodities video that I'll do, but no trade right there that I'm looking at. Sugar, we got off on a long on Friday on sugar. Actually, I'm sorry, it was actually on Thursday. You can see price had come down to here, hit our buy, and you can see the beautiful reaction that had happened on Friday. Here was the buy in here on Thursday, and price came down a little bit more onto Friday and then just exploded up. So I'm looking for further continuation, and I'm looking for these highs up here. So we're a long ways away from that. It's a big swing trade. I've got a fairly large stop on it. My risk is manageable though, and we're going to watch and see what it does. Actually, after this bull move here, I actually moved the stop to break even. So if you are in this trade, haven't done so, please move your stop to break even and watch this trade go higher. If it does want to retrace back down, that's okay, because our stop is at break even, so we can look to reposition again if we get taken out without any loss, so we'll be good. If I start to see price roll over as well too, and it looks like it maybe gunning for the lows here, then I'll even tell you to take a little bit of profit and close the trade before it does get stopped out. So we'll watch for that. Nothing on nat gas yet, still looking for a price run lower, and again for commodity wise, I'm just going to leave it at that for now. I'll do a better, more in-depth video. Wanted to talk about Bitcoin really quick. You can see here they finally broke this market structure. There was chopping sideways for 2 weeks, finally broke it down, and I think this thing is just going to continue to rip down. I think they may want to come back up and fill this gap, and then I think they'll roll over eventually. But you can see they're starting to break this price down. The sellers are really stepping in behind this and pushing her down, and I think we're going to see that continue. Now, if we go into Ethereum, this was the note that I made today for some of our members, that you can see the bears are stacking up their orders, and they're going to start pushing this. Now, Bitcoin, this came in close to the lows. Ethereum still has a ways to go before these lows get tagged in here. If they even take the lows at all, I'm not too sure on that, because you can see they did a stop run down here. So if this fails to take these lows out, that could be the sign of implied strength on Ethereum. Whereas if Bitcoin is just going to come run down and going to start smashing through these lows here, I'm going to wait and see if Ethereum has any strength at all and see any resistance in this, basically somewhere in this area right here. This blue shaded line would kind of be the line in the sand. If it breaks 383 or 380 level, then we'll probably see it run down. So I'll be watching for that on Ethereum. I'm still not buying yet, and I'm not selling it either. I'm just going to remain neutral on this until price has bottomed out. And then the same thing with Ripple. Here you can see prices broken down. Basically, all of the cryptos had taken a big hit. Now, this is interesting. You can see this one here. I had this area tagged out for a very, very long time. Liquidity, liquidity, liquidity. And look what they did. They came in and they ran those stops. So it's going to be interesting to see if Bitcoin does continue to fall south. You know, with Litecoin, is it going to continue to fall south as well, or did they just run the stops and now they're going to continue higher? If we do see strength on this, you know, that could be the catalyst that starts to run it. So just keep that in mind. You can kind of see here, price is also acting in kind of that wedge formation pattern. More than likely, you're always going to get a break to the downside. You can see that happened right there today. So if you are a crypto holder, beware. We could see lower prices yet. So just, you better hang on. Unless you're shorting it, in which case you could see some more downside. So anyway, that's it. I'm going to wrap this one up. I'll be back on Tuesday morning to do a live London Open trading session. Won't be trading, more of a study session. And I'm just going to be watching price this week. And my main focus, like I say, is to get that commodity video done. And I'm going to run through the leaders and pick out a couple of pairs for you guys and the members. You can get some advanced knowledge like we had on a few of the trades here in the past with cocoa, coffee, you know, cotton, orange juice, sugar, soybeans, and the whole gambit. So thanks, guys. Appreciate your time and hope you have a great week of trading. Remember, just take it easy on Wednesday for sure. If you do elect to trade Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday could give you a bit of a ride. So it might be best to sit on the sidelines until that FOMC news has finished. So talk to you soon.